What is up, everybody? I hope you are all doing so well. Today we are going over another wedding that I did yesterday, which was a Friday. So let's just get right into it. So to start, this was in Grand Rapids, Michigan, downtown near where I live, which is awesome because 99% of my weddings are forever away. So what I did is I got there a little bit early and I decided to do some drone footage because I could also use this footage to sell as stock footage, which is pretty fun because you can make a little extra money. So I did like maybe 25 minutes of drone footage. And when I was done, I came back and landed, and then I had to take my journey back over to the tower where we were going to do a first look. It's called McKay Tower. We went to the roof, which was really awesome. And as I was on my way back, I had to cross the famous Blue Bridge, which they had some art thing going on where there was like a ton of microphones or speakerphones, sorry. And they were all saying random gibberish words, and it was very annoying. There, and then I finally got there and rushed to the top, got my camera set up for the first look. As you can see, the groom would be standing right there facing that way, and the bride's gonna come out the door to the right, and we're gonna get the bride coming in and then, you know, do our thing. So I'm gonna show you my shot here in a second to show you what it looks like. I think, if you can even see it because it was super bright out. Yep, I had the 85mm 1.8 on, but I didn't have an ND filter, so I had to crank that F. So not a big deal. It's a really nice background. You got the city in the background. Well, all 4 buildings of the city in Grand Rapids. And from here, we basically just got everything set up. I went over with the photographers where my stuff was going to be, so neither of us got in each other's way. So we finally got ready to go and get the first look going. So I wanted to get a quick shot of her coming out of the door here to get like a kind of an establishing shot almost. I had my camera zoomed a little bit. I'll try to put a shot up to what it looks like because I did not have the photographer in my shot. Which was kind of hard because I didn't want to be in her way or his way and also not have any of them be in my shot. Welcome to the life of a videographer. So right here, we're gonna have the bride come out, and as she comes out, I get a quick shot of her walking, and then the photographers had her stop so then we could all get resituated. I do prefer it to be one fluid action rather than having the bride stop because it makes editing a lot smoother and it makes it look more natural in post, but the photographers do also have to do their job and get their shots, so I am kind of used to it at this point. And then, you know, first look happens, I get my shots I need, you know, make sure I got their faces in frame. I get a few different shots, different focal lengths, different angles. There's not many angles to get on this rooftop, as you can see, especially with having 2 photographers, which I'm also used to. And then from here, we went into getting a few shots of them 2 together, and I just kind of let the photographers do their thing. We were on a tight schedule at this point. They wanted to get down because it was super hot. So I just let the photographers do their thing instead of having them do things that I wanted them to do. I prefer a lot more dynamic shots with movement. I want the bride and the groom to be doing stuff that's active or moving because when the bride and groom are sitting still, it's basically like taking a video of a still photo. There's just not much going on. There's no candid moments, so I just deal with it and I got what I could. I try to always stay recording so I can, you know, get moments where, you know, they're smiling or laughing after the photos are taken because that's usually when the fun stuff happens, is after or before the photo. So once we were done with that, we walked to the next location, which was right down the street, but always utilize the time in between because look at like right now, the photographer started taking pictures and I also started taking video of them holding hands, walking together, and, you know, doing a bunch of other cute things. And I like to get a lot of shots when the bride and groom don't even realize I'm recording. And there was a point, or I think right here or something, where they realized the photographers were taking photos, and that kind of, you know, I don't like it when people mention that out loud. Somebody mentioned that. I like the bride and groom not to really know I'm doing that, because then that's when the more candid stuff happens. But this is when it kind of gets a little difficult, because the photographer is obviously on, I think, like a 135 or a more zoomed in lens. My max is 70, so I ended up just getting a really cool, really wide shot here at like 24 with all the pillars, so you could see like it, you know, really wide. But I really wish I could have got more dynamic shots here, and I always make sure I know what lenses the photographers are shooting on. For example, right now she's shooting on a zoomed lens, so I knew that I could go up a little bit farther and I could go get a shot and still not be in hers. But once I realized she's on like a 24 or 35, then that's like kind of, I realize my limits to where I can move and not be in her shot still. So that's always one good thing to watch out for, and photographers really appreciate that. So here I kind of just got a few more candid shots while they were doing some things in between photos, and I also got some shots while they were taking photos, just to kind of get different angles. And again, I really would have preferred to do some more dynamic shots, but it was really hot and I didn't want to have them have to move around a lot because they were already pretty toasty. So here, I just got a quick few shots of the groom getting his boutonniere put on, and then the photographer also had the best man mess with it right here, and I got another shot just to see which one I would like better. And then we went to another bridge nearby and got a cool walking shot of everybody walking at us, and I got a few shots, one moving in, one moving out, and a few other different things. The photographer was on a zoom lens, so I couldn't really do much about it. And then here is a moment where just everybody is walking. We're not actually doing photos, but I was still recording the bride walking, and I kind of lifted my camera up a little bit to get more of her. I just get random shots like this because sometimes they might actually look kind of cool in slow motion. Sometimes it may not, it doesn't matter. I actually haven't seen any of the footage yet before making this video, so if I add any footage in. And then right here you'll see me lift my gimbal up, and that's because there was another bride and groom doing their first look to the left, and that's how we said hi to each other, because we were both on the similar camera setup with the Ronin S, so that was fun to see. So we went down by the river and we did some more pictures here, but again, it was directly in the sunlight, so everybody was getting hot, so we kind of rushed through it. I did the little artistic-y shot through the plants, more zoomed in of them. Kind of did a shot as well that went through the plants and then back through the plants, so I kind of like threw my camera through the plants. I had an ND filter on, just in case you're wondering, so that my lens didn't get destroyed. Lastly, we went under this bridge where it was shaded, and here is where we did individuals with the bride and the bridesmaids, groom and the groom, along with a few more shots of each bridal party by itself, and you know, some more stuff like this. And then we got to the country club, which was a really nice country club, kind of looks like a castle, and I was just out here getting my establishing shot of the country club. I was gonna fly my drone, but it was a little bit of a hassle. As you can see, there is a bus and another car in the driveway, which, you know, isn't the best. And the reason I did this now is because I had extra free time to get a shot of this, and the bus and the other car were not gonna be moving for a while. So I figured worst case scenario, I use a shot with a bus in it rather than having no shot at all. I believe I did go out and get another shot after they were gone, but I don't remember. And then while I was outside, I also got shots of the ceremony site, because why not? It was an unplugged ceremony, and this was the first wedding ever that nobody was actually on their phone taking pictures, so that was extremely nice. Then we go to the family pictures. This was the immediate family, I believe, pictures. I don't really get a ton of these photos moments of these photos, because they're usually extremely staged and there's not much going on at all during this time, but I do get some shots here and there. As I was outside, I noticed the cupcake and cake stand was all set up, so I went inside and got some shots of all that stuff. All right, so here's the start of the ceremony, and I don't normally get a ton of everybody walking down, but I do get a few shots here and there. This was me getting a backup shot of the bride coming down, and then I take a full-on sprint to the front to get the coming down the aisle shot, and also so I'm not in the photographer's shot. So we get a shot here where it's the same shot where you're just kind of backing up, and as she comes down, I kind of dip out to the side. And usually I like to be on the same side as the photographer, so I don't get them in my shot, but I didn't really have a choice here. We kind of worked it out beforehand, but things happen, so it's not a big deal. And then I just kind of sit here for a minute and get the reactions of everybody as they say goodbye and go sit down. And then once they finally set up where they're going to be, I kind of check my cameras and I make sure that they have good focus and that they're recording and everything's good on those. And it looks like I set down my camera here. All right, then once I make sure that that camera's working, everything's going well, I get kind of a pan shot / backup shot at the same time as I'm going away, because, you know, more shots doesn't hurt. And then I get a down the aisle shot. Usually I like to get a moving in and moving out shot of the bride and the groom holding hands. It's kind of a nice shot. I try not to go too far up because it sometimes seems to me to be a little distracting, but don't let that stop you. You need to get the shots you need to get. As long as you're not being obnoxious, you shouldn't be that much of a bother to everybody. And then while I was over there, I was checking out my other camera, making sure that it was good to go and that the camera, the focus and everything was on point, so that I didn't have to sit there and worry if the shot was going to get ruined. And then right here, I'm going to show you my shot, show you what it kind of looks like. You can see the bride and kind of the groom, and then the other camera over there is a wider shot on a 35, which you can see the groom's face, but it's just a little bit wider. I believe I was on like an maybe 85 mil-ish range on that other camera, because it's a 70 to 200. And then during the ceremony, I just get, you know, shots here and there. And then here's my other shot. You can't really see it because here's where working well together with the photographers is nice. And I got a nice shot of them getting their first kiss. I had no idea the other photographer was going to go behind them, so that was kind of a surprise to me. Wasn't the best, but they were really cool and awesome photographers, so I can't complain much. And then I just got a shot of here of them leaving. And then after the ceremony's done, I just go and shut off my cameras. Don't forget that step, or else you're going to have a lot of footage you don't want and a lot of storage taken up on your SD cards. I'll talk about my storage solutions in another video because I'm very redundant. But let's move on here. And always remember that when the bride and the groom enter, everybody stands up. Even if you don't think they're going to, last minute, the DJ always says everybody stand up or something, and they're going to stand up. So make sure you change your location, because I always, for some reason, forget that, but yet they always stand up. As you can see right here, I had a good shot of the door, and then I didn't. So the setup in this room was not the best to get this shot, but you gotta do what you gotta do. And I believe they went straight into their first dance from the entrance, which I always love because it gets the ball rolling on things and gets your day going. The DJ was really cool. He actually played their first song on guitar and was really good. But right here, I'm kind of just waiting for the dancing to start. He's just getting his stuff ready. He's just saying some funny stuff. He was fun. And then throughout here, I just kind of changed locations here and there to get different shots. In different angles, different focal lengths, different shots. For some reason, one of my biggest things is I'm always like a little timid when it comes to being way out there and in everybody's way. So when I first started, I used to get like a whole wraparound shot of the first dance if they did like a spin or something, and I would literally do a full 360 around them right on the dance floor. And now I'm more timid and I tend to not, you know, get in front of everybody. But one thing I must say is just don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to get in everyone's way. It's gonna be on video. They can see it later if they miss 2.5 seconds of their first dance. And that's just something I need to work on that I've noticed I've been doing over the years of doing wedding videos. So I try to change it up here and there, and I believe I did a whole like reveal shot with his speaker and just trying to get more dynamic shots. So I'll make a whole video about that, but that's just another thing to remember. Just don't be afraid to block people's vision, because that's what you're there for, you know? You're getting paid to film their video, so film it. And then during the father-daughter dance, I basically moved to a different spot or opposite side so I can get a different angle, because in post-production, if I put the two dances one after another and they're in the same location or same shot area, it's going to look like a jump cut, and it's not going to be the most aesthetically pleasing thing to look at. So just try to get a different variation of shots so you don't end up with jump cuts. Unless that's the look you're going for, then do what you got to do. And then the same thing for the mother and son dance. Just change up your shot. Don't be afraid to go wherever you need to get a cool shot. And then now here we're at the toast, and I always try to make sure I know who's doing it first so I can have my stuff set up. However, it was a little rushed to get this going because I wasn't 100% ready. I got both my cameras out. You can see kind of one by the photographer right now. Always mic it up, by the way. I'll keep continuing to say that. And then I also have a camera right behind me on a zoom lens, and I have that set up as well. So during the toast, I just get a few shots here and there on my gimbal, and then the rest of them is on the actual tripoded cameras, because I use mostly the gimbal footage for the video, or if something really funny was said or something memorable, I will throw that in the video, just that clip. So and then here we're doing some sunset photos, which was really sketchy because we did it like 15 minutes past sunset, but we had just enough sun left to actually make it look kind of good. So it ended up actually looking sweet on video, kind of like a nice sunset sky. It was just a little bit later in the sunset, and they changed. He's got different shoes on and stuff, so it was a more chill time, and looks like she changed her shoes as well. And it was fun. So we didn't get too many shots out here. I got maybe a few, and that was kind of it, because there was only so much light left in the day. So, and then shortly after we came back inside, as you can see, it's already dark out, and we did the cake cutting. We just had to explain to them how to cut it, because no couple ever knows how to cut it, and that's perfectly explainable because this is probably their first time. So yeah, they cut the cake. I got a shot of that. I try to get a more zoomed in shot of the cake being cut, and then a more wide shot of them feeding it to each other so it doesn't look like a jump cut. Or change up your angle if you can, but 99% of the time you can't really change much of your angle depending on where the cake is placed, especially here. If I go on the other side of them, I'm gonna be directly in the photographer's shot and they'll be in mine. And that's just, it's good etiquette to be nice to photographers so they're nice to you and so they can get the shots that they need. So I just got shots here. And then last but not least, we got some open dancing going on. I haven't been to a ton of weddings where there's a huge crowd that's so excited and crazy dancing and all of that. So normally me staying like 2 or 3 songs is just enough to get a few dancing shots, because I mean, as you can see, there's not much going on right now, and that's the first song. And there's only so much you can do with that footage to show people having fun and having a good time. But I will say that the cupcakes were amazing here. I believe that's what I did when I set my camera down. I was kind of waiting for the people to perk up and then more dancing to start, which a little bit. It was mostly just a couple of women having some fun on the dance floor. I got some shots of that, and that was kind of really it for the day because there wasn't that many people dancing, so there wasn't much I could really do. But that's kind of it for this video, guys. If there's anything in depth you'd like me to go over on these videos, or like me to talk more about or show at weddings, I've got plenty more this year to go, so please let me know in the comments below. I would love to have more content or more specific content to show you guys. So if you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. It'd help me know that you guys appreciate these videos, because if you don't, I can make different types of videos. I am in school, so it is a pain in the butt to make different types of videos right now, so sorry you're not getting many vlog style. But I will be trying to make more of those since I got a new light, and that's exciting. But don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like everyone else. You know what to do. You are on YouTube. You're YouTubers, in a sense. So you know it. But hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one.